Students, today we'll be forming and solving equations. That's our topic. So the learning objective is to be able to form equations from word problems and solve them. So what I'd like for you to make sure that you do is to write examples down, different types of examples down in your book, so that you'll have that to use when you're moving to do your independent work. So let's go to the next slide. Here are your starter questions. Pause the video and spend no more than 10 minutes doing the questions. Once you're through, resume the video to check your answers. Okay, let us check our solutions. So the first question, we have 2x plus 7 equal 9. So our first thing to do is subtract 7 from both sides. So 7 minus 7 is 0, leaves us with 2x on the left. 9 minus 7 is 2. Okay, then the next step is to divide by 2 on both sides so that we can get x. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we're left with 1x, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that is the answer. X equal 1. Next question. 4x minus 9 is equal to 3. So we're going to keep our 4x for now and add 9 to both sides. Minus 9 plus 9 gives us 0. So we're left with 4x on the left. 3 plus 9 is equal to 12. Then we will divide both sides by 4 so we can get x by itself. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we're left with 1x. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. X equals 3 is our answer. And our third question, 5x minus 4 gives us 16, so we will add 4 to both sides. Minus 4 plus 4 gives us 0, and so we're left with 5x on the left. 16 plus 4 gives us 20. Then we will divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so we're left with just x. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So our answer is x equal 4. We're moving on to our next column. So we're going to do our fourth question. 2x minus 2 equal minus 10. So we'll add 2 on both sides. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0, leaves us with 2x on our left. Minus 10 plus 2 gives us minus 8. Remember, working with our negatives. Then we'll divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1x. And minus 8 divided by 2 gives us a minus 4, because negative divided by a positive is negative. Now we have our brackets question. So first we'll expand the brackets. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. And that gives it equal to 21. Then we'll subtract 3 from both sides. So 3 minus 3 is 0, leaves us with 3x on our left. 21 minus 3 is 18. So we'll now divide by 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 is 1, leaves us with x. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. And our final question in the starter, expand the bracket. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times minus 5, minus 10. And then we have equal to. Then we'll add 10 to both sides. So we'll get 2x, because minus 10 plus 10 is 0. So 2x is left on the left. And then 2 plus 10 gives us 12. Then we will divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we get 1x, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So our final answer is x is equal to 6. Well done. Thank you for trying that. Now we'll go to the next slide to continue with our lesson. Now that we have practiced solving equations, we need to build this up a little bit by writing equations because there are some times when we're asked to write equations before we can solve them. And so the first question we have here says the original cost of a t-shirt was X. We don't know what that value is, we just know that the cost of a t-shirt was X. It says the price was reduced by £3, and so the new price is £15. So if it says that it's reduced by £3, then it means that we have taken off £3 and then we've got a new price of £15. So we started with X, we reduced by £3, and then our new price is £15. So we're going to write an equation with that. So it says the price was X, we have reduced by £3, which means we have taken away £3, and the new price that we get is equal to 15. So that is our equation. So the next bit, now we've written the equation, the next bit says what was the original cost of the t-shirt. Now we can solve that. We'll write the equation here. I know many of you can already tell us what X is, but if we had to show the steps for solving this equation, then we know because we're subtracting 3, we'd have to add 3 and do it on both sides. So we'll end up with minus 3 plus 3 being 0, so the left side would be X, and on the right 15 plus 3 is 18. So it means X is 18, and it said X was the cost of the t-shirt, its original cost. So therefore the cost of the t-shirt would have been £18 originally. And we can check if it was £18 and we take off £3, then of course it would be £15. So we know our calculation is correct. Here's another problem. Again, we have to write the equation and then solve it. So it says Megan thought of a number X. So she thought of a number X, we don't know what it is. She doubled the number, so our first thing is starting with X. She doubled it, which is the second thing. Then she added 15, that's the third thing. And then her final answer is 27. So she started with X, right, whatever her number was, doubled it, so we know we need to multiply that by 2, then add 15. So the equation would have been X for Megan, but because it's doubled, it becomes 2X. So we've done number 1 and 2. Then number 3 is to add 15, and number 4 is the final result. Whatever she has done, X times 2 and then add 15 will give us 27. So now we're going to try to find out what number she thought of, and we're going to use the steps of solving equations. So 2x plus 15 equal 27 is our equation. So we'll subtract 15 on both sides, and so we'll get 2x on the left. 27 minus 15 is 12, and then now we'll have to divide both sides by 2. And so 2 divided by 2 is 1, which gives us 1x, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the number that Megan thought of was 6. And we can always check if she's correct. So here's our check box. The equation was 2x plus 15 is 27. So her x was 6. So we know 2 times 6 will give us 12, and when we add that to 15 we get 27. So therefore our calculation is correct. Here's a question I'd like for you to try. Pause the video, spend 2 minutes trying to write the equation and solving it. Just read the question carefully. Once you have tried it, resume the video to check for the answer. Alright, Kim thinks of a number. We don't know what the number is. They haven't told you what letter, so you will have to choose a letter. Let's call it X. It could have been P, Q, whatever letter you'd like to use. She doubles it, then added 5. So X, she thinks of a number as the first thing. She doubles it, which is the second thing. She added 5, which is the third thing, and her final result is 44, the fourth thing. And so we would end up with, she started with x, she doubled it, so that's 2x, then she adds 5, and that result would be 33. Now, to solve the equation, 2x plus 5 equals 33, we would subtract 5 on both sides, so we'll end up with 2x on the left, 28 on the right. Then we divide by 2 on both sides, and so we'll end up with 2 divided by 2 is 1, so left with 1x, and 28 divided by 2 is equal to 14. So 14 is the number that she thought of. Well done. Let's try another problem. Here's another question that I'd like you to try. Pause the video, spend 2 minutes doing it. Once you've finished, resume the video to check the solution. Okay, so it says Jack thinks of a number. Say the number is B, so that's the first thing. He doubles it, which is the second thing, then subtracted 10, which is the third thing, and his result is 14. So that's the fourth thing. So it starts with B, he doubles it, which is 2 times B. So we've done the first and the second. Then he subtracted 10, which is the third thing, and after doing that he gets an answer of 14. So that's equal to 14. And our next part is to just solve. So 2b minus 10 is 14. So we'll keep our 2b at the moment and get rid of our minus 10. So we add 10 on both sides. Minus 10 plus 10 is 0. So we're just left with 2b. And on our right side, 14 plus 10 is 24. And then we divide both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2 gives us 1, so we are left with 1b. And then 24 divided by 2 is equal to 12. So Jack thought of the number 12. Here's another problem which looks similar, but the wording is a little bit different. So we have to pay attention to the steps taken so we can identify what's the first thing that was done, the second, the third, the fourth. And if there are more steps, we keep in that order. So I said Tom thinks of a number. Let's call that number A. We don't know what it is, so we start with a letter and we are choosing A. So he thinks of the number A, which is the first thing. He adds 6 to it, which is the second thing. Then doubled the answer. That's the third thing. And his final result is the fourth thing. So he starts with A and then adds 6, because that's the second thing. It says he then doubled the answer. So after doing whatever number A is, adding 6 to it, he goes and doubles that. So it means therefore that we have doubled everything, or Tom has doubled everything, right? After doubling that, he stops there because it says his final result is 14. So that means all of what he's done, A plus 6, and then double that, is going to give us 14. And then all we need to do is solve. So now we've done questions with brackets before, so we should be able to solve. So first thing is to expand our bracket. 2 times A, 2A. Then 2 times 6 is 12. And that gives us 14. And now we will solve by subtracting 12 on both sides. 12 minus 12 is 0, gives us 2A on the left. And 14 minus 12 is 2. And then we'll just divide both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1A. And 2 divided by 2 is 1 on the right. So A is 1. So 1 is the number that Tom thought of. Okay, I'd like you to try this question on your own. Pause the video, 2 minutes, try the question. Then once you're finished, resume the video to check for your answers. Okay, it says Andy thinks of a number. What number it is, we don't know. Let's call it P then. So that's the first thing he does. He then subtracted 6 from it. Subtracted 6, that's the second thing. Then doubled the answer is the third thing. And then from that his result is 8. So our fourth bit of information. So he starts with P, then subtracted 6. After subtracting 6, he then doubles that answer. So double all of P minus 6. And when he's through with that, he gets an answer of 8. So that's the equation. So now we're going to solve that. Expand the bracket first. 2 times P, 2P. 2 times minus 6 is minus 12. And we keep our equal 8. Then to solve, we'll add 12 on both sides, which gives us 2P on the left. And on the right, we would get 8 plus 12 is 20. Then we'll divide both sides by 2. And so we would end up with 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that leaves us with P. And 20 divided by 2 is equal to 10. So the number that Andy thought of was 10. Now we're going to take in a bit of geometry with or formula and solving equation. So let's have a look at this example. It says a rectangle has a length which is 5 centimeters longer than its width. The perimeter is 26 centimeters. So my suggestion would be just to make a little sketch to give you context. And it says it's a rectangle, so we've drawn a rectangle. It says the length is 5 cm longer than the width. We don't know what the width is, so we could call that W for the width. And then it says this length is 5 cm longer than the width, so that means that the length would be the width plus 5 more because it's 5 centimeters longer. Now it says the perimeter of the rectangle is 26. So we need to write an equation for the perimeter and then find the value of the width. And we have used W to represent the width. So because we're looking at perimeter, we're looking at the length of all the sides. So it means that this missing length at the bottom will be W plus 5. And then the length on the left here would also be W. So if it's a perimeter, we need to add all the sides. So we have 1W, 2W, 3W, 4W, right? And then adding 5 and 5 would give us 10. So we've added 5 and 5. And so we've added all the sides. And now it tells us in the question that the perimeter, which we have written as 4W plus 10, is actually 26 centimeters. So we can say that that would be equal to 26. It now says find the value of the width of the rectangle. So all we have to do is solve the equation. So we'd subtract 10 on both sides. And so 10 minus 10 is 0, left with 4W. And then 26 minus 10 on the right would give us 16. We divide both sides by 4 to work out W. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, which leaves us with 1W. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. So the width of the rectangle W is 4. If you want to check if it's correct, we can just put 4 where W is in each case and just add it all up. So here on the top, that would be 9. At the bottom will also be 9. And then on our left and right, we have 4 plus 4, which would give us 8. So if we add those together, 9 plus 9, 18. 18 plus 8 would give us 26, which is what they told us was the perimeter of our rectangle. So we know we have done the correct calculation. Here's a similar problem like the perimeter question that we just looked at. Spend 4 minutes trying to answer this question, then resume the video to check your answer. Okay, it says the perimeter of the rectangle is 30, so we know when we add all the sides it should be 30 centimeters. However, we have not been given the values of the lengths. We've just been given the length to be 2c and the width to be c. So part A says write an equation for the perimeter. So we know that we need to add all the sides to get the perimeter. So we're going to add the sides. 2c plus 2c is 4c. Add one more c gives us 5c. Add one more c gives us 6c. So for A it's 6c. But the equation, now we have the expression, it says the equation for the perimeter. So we know 6c is equal to the perimeter that they told us earlier, which is 30. So that's our equation. For part B, it says we should work out the value of c. So we have the equation in A, so all we need to do is solve for c. So then we write our equation. 6c equals 30, then we divide both sides by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we're left with 1c, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. So it therefore means that c is equal to 5. Now part C says work out the length of the longer side. So the shorter side is c, the longer side is 2c. So all we need to do is substitute c, so we get 2 times 5 because c is 5, and we know that 2c means 2 times c. Okay, so 2 times 5 is equal to 10 centimeters because it says the perimeter was in centimeters, so it means the length is in centimeters. Another rectangle problem. So it says the area of a rectangle is 39 meters squared. It says write an equation for the area of the rectangle and find the value of k. Now we know that a rectangle's area is found by length multiplied by width. Our length is k plus 2, so we put k plus 2 multiplied by the width, which is 3. However, because the entire k plus 2 is the length, that needs to be placed in brackets. So when we work that out, we get 3 bracket k plus 2 because this 3 always goes in front as the general rule. Now, it says the area of the rectangle is 39 meters squared. So the equation that we should get is going to be 3 bracket k plus 2. And that, when we multiply them, the length and the width, it should give us 39. So that's the equation. It then says find the value of k. So I'm just writing the equation here where I have some more room to show the working. And then we're going to solve for k. We expand the bracket. 3 times k is 3k, and then 3 times 2 is 6. That's equal to 39. So we'll subtract 6 on both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0, so we're left with 3k. And on the right side, 39 minus 6 is 33. Then we will divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we're left with k, and 33 divided by 3 is 11. So k is equal to 11. How about working on this angles problem, which asks you to write an equation? It says write an equation for the sum of these angles. And so here we have some angles on a straight line, and we should make sure that we know that the sum of the angles on a straight line is equal to what? You guessed it, 180 degrees. So since we're going to write an equation for the sum of the angles, we need to add these 3 angles together because it says sum. So it would be 3a plus 2a plus 4a, and those three angles when added together is equal to 180 degrees. And we can simplify our equation. 3a plus 2a is 5a, and 5a plus 4a is 9a, so 9a equal 180. That is our equation. Then part B says solve your equation to find the value of a. So we write our equation 9a equal 180. We now need to divide both sides by 9 because a is being multiplied by 9. And so 9 divided by 9 is 1, which leaves us with 1a. And 180 divided by 9 is 20. So it therefore means that the size of a, or the value of a, is 20 degrees. It is important to remember angle facts because sometimes they will bring that into our algebra solving equations. Let's look at a few more problems and then you will do some independent work. So it says Kim is X years old. So we're going to make a note. Kim's age is X. Then it says Jack is 2 years older than Kim. So I'm going to make a note of that. For him to be 2 years older than Kim, it would be Kim's age plus 2 more because he's 2 years older. And it says the sum of their ages is 24. Find their ages. So we need to create an equation. It says the sum of their ages. So therefore means we have to add Kim's age to Jack's age. So we have Kim's age and we have Jack's age, and we have added them because it says sum, and said when we add them, the sum of their ages is 24. So now all we need to do is solve the equation. However, we need to simplify our left side. We have 1x here and we have 1x here, so that gives us 2x total, and then our 2 remains, and then that's equal to 24. Then we can solve. So we'll subtract 2 on both sides. So 2 minus 2, 0, leaves us with 2x, and 24 minus 2 is 22. Then we can divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, remain that, so we're left with x, and then 22 divided by 2 is 11. So x is Kim's age, so Kim is equal to 11, and Jack, his age would be 11 plus 2, which is 13. So we have to make sure that we answer the question properly. Yes, we've solved for x, which is Kim's age, but the question says find their ages. So we have to work out both the ages that are involved in the question. Here's a similar problem I'd like for you to work out. Spend no more than 2 or 3 minutes to solve the problem. Resume when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, it says Pam is X years old. Jack is 5 years younger than Pam. The sum of their ages is 35. We need to find their ages. So it's 5 years younger, and the sum of their ages is 35. We need to work out their ages. So just make a note. Pam is X years old. And then Jack is 5 years younger. So if we want that, it would be Pam's age minus 5 for him to be 5 years, for Jack to be 5 years younger. Then it says the sum of their ages is 35. So we'll have to add Pam's age to Jack's age. And they said the sum of both their ages is 35. So now we'll simplify. We have 1x and 1x, which is 2x, and our minus 5 remains, and that's equal to 35. Then we will just solve the equation we've created, adding 5 on both sides. So minus 5 plus 5 is 0, leaves us with 2x on the left. 35 plus 5 is 40. Then we will divide both sides by 2 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with x, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. So x represents Pam's age. So Pam is 20 years old, and Jack is 5 years younger, so it's Pam's age minus 5, which is equal to 15 years old. Now if we add 20 and 15, we get 35, which was the total of their ages in the question, so we know we have calculated properly. Here is a bit of an extension now. So we have been looking at 2 people's ages. This question involves 3 people's ages, but let's read the question so we can build some understanding and answer the question. So it says Alan is X years old. So I'll just make a note as we go along. Alan is X years old. Then Barry is 10 years younger than Alan. So Barry is 10 years younger than Alan. So we'll take Alan's age, subtract 10 from it to get Barry's age, because Barry is 10 years younger. And then it says Kevin is double Alan's age. So Kevin is twice Alan's age. So it's 2 times x. This is Alan's age. So doubling that would give us 2x, which is Kevin's age. It says the sum of their ages is 54. So when we add all 3 ages, we get 54. So it says we need to form an equation. So we're going to add Alan's age, because it said the sum of their ages, Alan's age plus Barry's age plus Kevin's age is equal to 54. We can't just leave it like that. We have to simplify it. So I'm just going to put this arrow to say I'm continuing to simplify. 1x plus 1x is 2x, plus 2x gives us 4x. So we've simplified the x's, and then we're left with the minus 10. So we need to put that back. And that is equal to 54. So when I add all their ages, it's 4x minus 10. And that is a total of 54. It says solve the equation to work out Alan's, Barry's, and Kevin's age. So we'll take the equation that we got in part A, and we're going to solve it for x. So we'll add 10 to both sides, and we get minus 10 plus 10 is 0, left with 4x on the left. 54 plus 10 is 64. Then we will divide by 4 on both sides. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, leaves us with 1x. And 64 divided by 4 is 16. Now x is whose age? Yes, Alan's age. So Alan is 16 years old. And then Barry's age is going to be x minus 10. And we worked out x to be 16. So 16 minus 10 will give us 6. So therefore mean Barry is 6 years old. Finally, Kevin is twice Alan's age. Alan was x, so that means we do 2 times 16, which is 32. So Kevin is 32 years old. Alright, so we just build our equation based on the word problem given, and then we can solve the equation. Here's one problem I'd like you to try again. You'll pause the video, spend no more than 2 minutes to solve the problem. Then you'll resume the video to check your answers. Alright, let's check. The cost of television TV is X pounds. So the cost of a DVD player is £45 less than the TV. The total cost of both TV and DVD player is £235. So we need to form our equation for part A and then find the cost of the TV. So let's go. The TV, making note, is X. The DVD player is £45 less than the TV. So it's the TV minus £45. The cost of the TV minus £45 would represent the DVD player's cost. And it says the total cost, that's adding them together, is 235. So we'll have to add x for the TV and x minus 45 for the DVD. When they're added together, it gives us 235 pounds. So we're going to simplify to write our equation properly. So 1x plus 1x is 2x, and then the minus 45 remains there, and that is equal to 235. So this is the equation for part A. Then it says find the cost of the TV, so we're just going to solve the equation for it. So for part B, we just write our equation and then we will solve. So keep our 2x first. We'll add 45 to both sides. Minus 45 plus 45 is 0, so we're left with 2x on the left. And then 235 plus 45 is 280. Then we'll divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1x, and 280 divided by 2 is 140. So it therefore means x is 140, and x represented the cost of the TV. So the TV will cost 140 pounds. Now that we have done quite a bit of practicing on writing and solving equations, here's your task that I'd like for you to do. Spend 20 minutes doing either bronze, silver, or gold. You can access the link on Show My Homework so that you can open it, and once you're through, you will scroll down to the bottom of the worksheet and click on the green tick. The answers will come up. You will mark. Once you're finished marking, just send photos of your work for you to get some feedback from me. Thank you and have a good day.